It's time to work on the window glasses. And if you remember, we have something into the adjustment folder. We have a folder with named glasses with the glasses mask. And inside that, we have the raw reflection coming from Corona or V-Ray whatsoever. And this reflection is not completely okay, is not completely right. It's basically is working till the end of this wall and this swimming pool, but the rest of it is kind of wrong. So we need to, now that we have a background and we have a foreground, we can work on it. Okay. So what to do? First of all, we are going to take the same photo we have here in the foreground to cover the area that goes from the swimming pool to the horizon. And then we are going to use the background photo as a secondary background here, like if we have the same kind of vegetation on our back. Okay. And of course you can use a different photo if you like, but because I want to simulate that we are in the same environment, of course I'm going to use the same photo. Okay. I don't worry too much about viewing the same kind of photo, because anyway we are looking at these glasses frontally, and as you may know, for dielectrics, so non-metal materials, the front reflection is only 5% strong, from a 2% to 5% strong, so it's very minimal. And glasses works in the way that if you have more light on the side you are, then you can see some reflection. But if you have some light on the other side, then the glasses are basically transparent. So there is no way to see the reflection. So, you can go from a 5% reflection frontally to almost nothing. Okay. Is a different thing when you look at dielectric on the side view. So we need to do some work on the glasses and then in a different way here on the swimming pool to make the water. Okay. And that will be another exercise. The theory is the same. What basically changed is the amount of opacity and the mask which reveal the water or the glasses in this case. So let's start. And as you can see here, this reflection, we can keep this one for the wall and for the swimming pool, but we need something more here. We need something new here. And because we have it on the props folder, so I open the prop folder and I go into the grass folder, and here we have the photo. So I press Ctrl J. Now remember that when you have an adjustment linked to a layer and you select the layer and you press Ctrl J, the new layer will take place of the old one, you see, and the old one will be basically discarded, and it ends up at the bottom. And you can take this one now. It's the same, so we don't care. Okay, so we drag and drop this new layer here on the glasses folder. And as you can see, it goes on the top of the old reflection. And what we need to do here, what I want to do here is I want to scale down a little bit this photo, okay? Because I want to keep only a small part of it, like this part. And I'm going to scale it down. Now, depending on the version of Photoshop you're using, you should basically press Alt or Shift to scale in proportion. Now in this version, if I just press Shift, it scale in proportion. If I press Alt, it scale from the center. And the new version of Photoshop, you don't have to do that. If you just scale, it scale in proportion. And so it's the opposite way, is the other way around. So here we go, and I keep this here. You see, I'm trying to match the horizon. I'm trying to match this line, and that's it. So I'm going to keep on this photo only for this line here, this small patch that goes between the swimming pool and the background. And then we need something for the background itself, and we can just go inside here. And what I want to do is basically a mix of the background photo plus the sky. So we have the sky here and we have the background here. So I'm going to select, look at this. I'm going to press Shift and select all the stuff here, okay, which is this photo and this photo. And I'm going to press Ctrl Alt E. And doing that, if you have something selected, it was going to create a new layer with the result in there. So everything is merged into a new layer. The old ones are still there. You're not going to modify them, which is good because I don't want to. And now that I have this merged layer of the forest plus the sky, I'm going to bring it up here in the glasses folder. And as you can see, now we have that photo there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this down because I want to get the illusion that this stuff is kind of far away behind us. And maybe I try to not get the same, you see the same repetition here, the same trees. So I'm going to do something like that. And when I press enter, I just align it with the horizon and that's it. Now, what we don't want is this area here. We want our grass. So I'm going to put a mask in there and paint with a very soft brush. Okay, so I'm going to paint pressing Shift if you want. So you do some straight lines. Okay, maybe with a smaller brush. Here we go, here we go. Okay, so now we have, you see this, grass field at the bottom and the forest at the top, and we are happy with that. But now we need to reveal the part of the reflection which is still correct. So I'm grouping these two layers together. I'm calling this one a new reflection, and put a mask on it and hide it for the moment. So now I'm going to do a very quick selection. I press Alt. When you have the lasso tool and you press Alt, you can basically pinpoint your shape, like if it's a polygonal lasso tool. You see, I'm doing this manually. I don't really care about being too perfect. Again, I'm zooming in, so that's enough. Is not going to be visible anyway. So it's like 5% opaque in the end. So here we go. This is the selection. I invert the mask, so this part will be revealed. Okay, here we go. So now this is the new selection. There's something we can still do. As you can see, this area looks like darker than the rest of the picture. So what I'm going to do now is to add an adjustment, a curve adjustment on the group. Now, normally is not a good habit to do so, because if you attach an adjustment on the group itself, the content of the group for Photoshop is like merged. So if you have any blend mode inside layers of the group, it's going to be, lost it. And then you don't want that. But because this time we just put these two layers one on top of the other in normal mode, then you can do it. Okay, so now we have a curve here, and I can just brighten up a little bit the background, as you can see here, to match with the lighting here of the wall. And we are happy with that. Now, what to do? There is a couple of things we need to do. First of all, we are going down with the opacity once we are done with this. And as you can see, it works automatically, because this is how dielectric works. We have a very, very weak reflection on the front, but it's not like that. It's not just like that. Basically, the reflection is stronger when the interior is darker. So the reflection should be stronger in these areas and even less visible on these areas, which are kind of bright. So what to do? You can do this trick. You can hide everything for the moment. Okay, we hide the adjustment, we hide the props, we hide the backgrounds. Okay, so we just reveal the render itself. Okay, and we go here inside the render folder and we put a black color at the bottom, and on the top we use use saturation to basically put everything black and white, and then an invert adjustment. Okay, and this will be a secondary mask for your glasses, because now the glasses will be stronger there and less strong here where we have this original bright area. Okay, so you, long story short, to make this mask, you take the original render, you make it black and white, and you invert the result. Okay, and now to save this as a mask, we just Control-Alt-Shift-E. Okay, or we can just go to the channels and, you know, select one of these, like with the control, and because I want to save this mask, I can create a new channel and invert this Control-I again. So it's basically like saving this selection somewhere. Okay, so again, I can go back in the channels and I can select this one every time I want it. Now we don't need these layers anymore, so we can just delete them. We don't need them anymore. We don't need this anymore. We can restore the background, the sky. We can restore the adjustment. We can restore the props on the top. And then we go back into the glasses folder. We go back to 100%. And now we close this group into another group. So I select the group, the group itself, and I press Ctrl G again. And I mask this one like, I don't know, let's say a real reflection. And then I'm going into the channels, click on the thumbnail of this new mask and apply the mask there. And as you can see now, the reflection is kind of weaker where we have these bright areas. Okay, and remember that you can do a couple of things. You can press Ctrl M once you select on the mask to do some destructive, you know, differences to make something like a contrast. You see, normally what I do is I just increase a little bit the darkness here, so you see it's even less visible when I have bright, where I have bright areas. Okay, good. And then we have the Fresnel effect, and the Fresnel effect is basically like saying that the more you look far away from the center, the less reflection you have. Okay, so what you want to do, you can make another group. Okay, and you can call this one Fresnel reflection, just because we want one more mask, basically. So one more mask, and now we can take the gradient tool, radial, okay, and we swap these two colors because we want to start from the center where the reflection is going to be stronger, and we put black the background color. So we do this, and as you can see at the border at the side, the reflection is kind of less strong by default. But now we can go back in here, select the original group, and just go down with the opacity, and we have our reflection. Remember that normally what happens in real life is that you have not just one layer of glasses, but you have multiple layers. And so if you want to do that, you need to copy again the reflection. So we can just make a copy of this group here, Ctrl J, selecting the group, as you can see. The second layer is always less strong than the first one, so I'm going down with the opacity, but then I select the move tool, and I just, with the arrow keys, we can just, you see, just move by 2 pixels on the top to the bottom and 2 pixels to the right, or anyway in the direction you want. Okay, just move a couple of pixels, so you have this kind of double reflection, which is actually more realistic than a single reflection. And then remember, you can still play with the opacity if you feel like that this is too strong. Okay, so we can go down with the starting opacity. Remember, is like, I don't know, just keep this second one less strong than the first one, and you will be all right. Okay, so the first one for me now is 10%, the second one is 5%, and that's it. Now the next exercise will be about the swimming pool. Okay, and the only difference will be basically the opacity amount, because when you look on water, is probably on the floor, and so the angle between you and that object, the water, is way more, is higher than the glass, because the glass is down in front of you, so the reflection will be much stronger. Okay, and then it depends if you have lights inside the swimming pool. If you have lights inside the swimming pool, then it's a different story, because remember that the final amount of reflection depends on the difference between the light where you are and the lights behind the reflection. Okay, so that's why when you look at swimming pool during the day, you can see a very strong reflection of the water, and when you look at swimming pools in the night, basically it looks like there's no reflection at all, because you have lights coming from within the swimming pool. And so it depends. Okay, you need to find your references and try to copy. Okay, so let's see how to make the swimming pool now.